Alright, I thought in this video I'll give you a completely comprehensive overview of every single thing that you need if you are looking to trade profitably and you're looking to be successful at trading. Now these points aren't just fluff, they're not based off of what I've just come up with. They're based on thousands and thousands and thousands, actually 150,000 data points that were taken from over 60,000 people in 115 countries, in fact 120 countries, and all of the data analyzed from the behavioral patterns of those different people that went through a trading education program. So this isn't something I've come up with. This is non-arguable, non-negotiable. These points, every single point I make here is going to be valid and relevant and essential if you're to be successful in trading. So I highly recommend that you grab a pen. This is essentially how we've built and underpinned all of the common problems for traders inside Tier 1. This is how we've mapped and constructed such a successful training program, and this is how we've built the accelerator program for our traders and why we've got such a high success rate. So grab a pen and I'm going to get started. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to actually want to trade. Now that might sound very, very simple, but what I mean by that is you need to know what you're actually doing it for and why. Because at the end of the day, trading is just numbers. You are looking at a screen, you are moving, you're placing orders and you're watching currencies go up and down in value. That is essentially it. If you haven't got you don't know what you want out of trading and you don't actually know why you actually want that thing, you're probably not going to succeed. I've said this many, many times before, but I'll give you an example of why I wanted to do it. So the what that I wanted was freedom. So I wanted mobility. I wanted more time with my family. I wanted to focus on stuff that I actually like doing. I was actually running a business that I really became frustrated with. I hated it. I wanted to be able to help other people when I could and when I felt like it. If opportunities came up, I wanted to be able to help other people, and I also wanted to leave a legacy for my kids. I wanted to be able to leave something that I could pass on, will down to my children. The why, so the reason why I wanted freedom and mobility is because I hated traveling and commuting on the tube every day. I didn't want to, drive into London every day and find a parking space and do the whole, the parking meter and all that stuff. The reason I wanted time with my family is because I wanted better relationships. I wanted to be able to be home or be able to pick them up from school or take them to school and just be there for breakfast even, to enhance the relationships with my family. The reason I wanted to focus on a passion is because I was sick of missing opportunities. So I didn't want to miss opportunities. When they came to me and I had my head stuck in something else, I would miss the opportunity. But now I've got free time and I can see things from a bird's eye perspective. I've got a bit more time to breathe and kind of take people up on those opportunities. I wanted to be able to help others because I wanted to be able to provide support for them, whether that's financial or emotional, or just be there for them or have the time, and have that flexibility. And lastly, I wanted generational wealth. I wanted something that could be willed down. So I know it sounds obvious, but when you might think that you actually want to trade, but you don't actually want to trade. You see a lot of people online and you think that it's what you want to do just because they're doing it, or they've got some, Lamborghini or Rolex watch and all that stuff, but it might not be for you. So just make sure that you actually want to do it and you know why you're doing it and what you want out of it. So the next thing that you want is to have realistic expectations. The next thing you need is to have realistic expectations, okay? This is something that not many trading educators dish out very freely, but it's one of the biggest common problems. People have such unrealistic expectations when it comes to trading. Not only do they overestimate what's achievable in a very short space of time, but when they kind of figure out and realize that there's a bit more to it, they then underestimate what's achievable in the next short space of time, because they might think that they could achieve something in 12 months, say, and because it's not as easy as they thought, they get discouraged, and then they underestimate what could have been achieved in 12 months to 5 years, say. And that is where you have the exponential growth. So you've got to have realistic expectations. You have to be able to know your numbers, know where you're going, what you're going for, what is your current situation. Do you know your net worth? Do you know your account balance? Do you know how much money you need to live on from trading? Or maybe it's a secondary income. How much is that? How much do you need? How much time do you have? What's your time horizon? And you need to know your numbers, because if you don't have that, you've got nothing tangible to work towards. There's no end. You just don't know where you're going with it, and you must have that. Another thing with expectations is you need to be able to commit to mastery. You have to commit to that. Once you know the time and how long it's going to take, and you need to know how long it's going to take, you have to commit to that. You also need to know not only how long it's going to take, but how much it's going to cost. What is the cost? What's the cost of education? What is the cost of the equipment that you need? And I always say that if you're going to learn on a program, just write off a year, write off 12 months, because it takes that whole time goal pressure off of your shoulders, and you're taking information a lot better that way. So we know we have to have a reason to want to do it. We need to know what we're going after and why. We also know that we have to have realistic expectations. The next thing is efficiency. You must be efficient if you're going to not lose that momentum, and you're not going to be discouraged, not only by you, but others around you. So you need to lose the whole shiny object syndrome. Chasing after the next system too soon, or going after another system before you've even given your first system the chance to blossom and to optimize. That's not efficient. You're going to be chasing that, and you're going to be becoming distracted too easily. The next thing is a focused, closed door environment. Get the noise away. Get around people that are on the same mission. Get around the people that are on the same goal, the same path, that are going to build you up and push you rather than distract you or put doubts in your mind. Get that noise out the way. Another thing for efficiency is you're going to have to be able to fail quickly. Cut losses. You're going to need to be able to understand that this trade isn't going in my favor, so I'm going to need to be able to cut that quickly and then get on to the next trade. You're going to need to be able to fail quickly. Another thing you're going to have to do to be as efficient as possible is to build a system around your current lifestyle. Too many people try and buy a system off the shelf and force it into their lifestyle, and that doesn't work. One, you might be busy at certain times of day, so there might be certain times of the day that aren't suited to you for trading. Two, you might have a different personality. So depending on whether you like to be right more than you're wrong, or whether you're okay being wrong more than you're right, but you just like that higher reward to risk ratio, that depends on your personality. But you certainly don't want to be trying to trade when you're on the phone to a client, or rushing to a meeting, or picking the kids up from school. It just won't work. That was not an efficient way to learn. Another thing with efficiency is broker fees. If you're getting in and out and you're trading without testing your system and planning your system, you're just going to end up giving broker fees away, and you'll probably break even at best. You're going to be paying the broker every time you get in and out, and you don't know what you're doing. You're just going to be spending money, literally throwing money down the drain. And then lastly, to do with efficiency, it would be withdrawals. You need to work out how much money you're looking to withdraw on your account. Obviously, the more you can keep in, the better for compounding. But withdrawals can be a big dent in the efficiency, because it will take a lot longer to build up that capital. All right, so that's expectations and efficiencies. The next thing is appreciation. You're going to need to understand your own personality. As I mentioned before, some people like being right more than they're wrong. Some people are okay being wrong more than they're right, as long as the reward to risk profile is in their favor. Some people like just being in the middle, but as long as they get lots of opportunities, and some people don't care about how many opportunities they get. Building something around your understanding your personality and building a system around that is very, very important. And you also need to know your blind spots. Appreciate your blind spots. Appreciate what you're good at and what you're not good at. You can take a personality test or something like that to really discover who you are, and they're very, very helpful. But you need to appreciate who you are as a person before you try and learn how to trade. You're going to need to know your appetite for risk, and you're going to need to understand how you feel about certain risk on certain trades. And then finally, with appreciation, you need to exercise gratitude. Too many traders, they go through this journey of learning, and they don't really appreciate how far they've come, and it becomes discouraging because it takes a lot longer than most people set out and think that it will. So what I recommend to do is to go and teach someone who doesn't understand what you're doing. So teach your kids, tell your partner, tell someone who doesn't know what you've learned. And what you do is you release this subconscious information, and all of a sudden you're making it real, and it can be very, very encouraging and empowering and motivating once you do that exercise. Check it out. It will blow your mind, trust me. So the next thing is accountability. Accountability is very, very important. I've worked with some of the best traders in the world. I've been on some of the best prop firm trading floors, and they've all told me that environment dictates performance. You know, with you, tell other people what you're doing. Tell other people that you're learning to trade. There's typically 3 different types of accountability. There's critical accountability, which is where you put yourself in a position where your back's against the wall and you've got no other alternative than to succeed. Obviously, I don't recommend that one for everyone. You don't want to be putting your house on the line or anything like that, or whatever, you know. But some people that works for. So some people, I know people who have just left their job. They had 2 jobs, they left their jobs, they went all in, and they had to make it work. When I started a business, I had just had a new baby. We'd moved into a bigger house. I left my job and I just jumped in at the deep end, and that helped me. But I don't recommend that for everyone, but just understand that is one level of accountability. The other level of accountability is self-accountability. Probably the hardest because it's all down to you. But if you're someone who can build accountability into your day-to-day life, you know, do things that you don't necessarily want to do, go for a run, you know, jump in a cold shower, do something that constantly pushes your mind and goes against what your amygdala part of your brain is telling you to do. Get out of your comfort zone on a daily basis. And the last form of accountability is external accountability. Tell others what you're up to, tell them that you're going to do this, and let them hold you accountable, even if it's your close group of network. Tell them what you're doing and they'll hold you accountable. And lastly, just know your comfort zone. Like, know your comfort zone, know your accountability comfort zone. Where are the boundaries of that thing, and push beyond them. And the way you push beyond them is to get around like-minded people. I can't stress enough how important it is to have a group of like-minded people around you when you're learning to trade. If people are discouraging you all the time and telling you, oh, haven't you done it yet? Or, I thought you was going to be earning loads of money by now. Ditch them, you know, get them out of the life. Or if they're close to you, just say, listen, I'm going to be doing this. Give me 12 months, 18 months, and I'll come back to you with some progress. Until then, I appreciate it if you just be quiet. If not, then just lose their number. All right, so now we've got the want and the why, we've got the expectations and efficiencies, we've got the accountability and appreciation. Now it's time to learn. Learn is so important, and I know that sounds obvious, but when you learn how to trade, it's probably the smallest part of trading. It's probably 10-20% technicals trading, and the rest is psychology. So it comes a little bit further down the line, but it is important you learn the right way. You build the foundation. Don't skip the basics. So many traders go, you know, through rushing on to the mastery and trying to learn strategies, and then by the time that they've actually learned a strategy, they don't know how to place an order, they don't know how to calculate pip values, they don't know how to calculate their position size, they don't even know what the broker order flow is. And because it's so basic and they're far down the line, they're embarrassed to ask, and they just give up at that point, and that is a tragedy. So don't skip ahead. Learn the basics, learn the fundamentals, learn the foundation of how to read price action, learn price patterns, learn support and resistance, learn the technicals. Don't skip ahead until you've learned that. But then on the other hand is don't learn everything. Right? This is a massive problem when we're talking about becoming a trader as efficiently as possible. People will go onto sites like, you know, babypips.com, and they'll learn everything. It'll be complete information overload, and they will end up be paralyzed from taking a trade because they've learned far too much, and it's having the right amount of information along the way. So you don't need to learn everything about everything. You need to learn enough to get profitable. And that's what's gonna build momentum. That's what's gonna give you motivation. That's gonna get results. And then you're gonna have that belief system that you can actually do this. And then finally in learn is know your system. Know your system inside out, off by heart, back of your hand. You just wanna know your system better than anything so that you can go out there and confidently trade it, verify it, repeat it, and then go live. So backed on to learn is listen. And when I say listen, I mean the obvious ones like a mentor or a coach. Listen to what they're saying. Pay attention to what doesn't work. Not essentially what does work and what the winning, always looking for that golden nugget. Pay attention to what doesn't work. Why aren't you doing certain things? Why did you stop doing that? Why did you stop using that stop loss? Why did you move your stops there? What doesn't work? Because if you're focusing on what does work and you're just trying to catch those nuggets, there'll be tons of those and there's no guarantee that you'll get there any quicker. If you pay attention to what doesn't work, you're going to bypass all those mistakes and you're definitely going to get there much quicker. The next thing is repetition. When you listen to films as a kid, you picked up the words and you know the words to the films off by heart. When you're in the car and you're listening to the radio, you're listening to the songs and you're picking the words off by heart. You're not learning those words. You're not deliberately sitting there and learning those words. If you can be in the same environment and you can, pick the one mentor and the one coach and stick with that coach, stick with that group, you're going to get the repetition. You're going to put the reps in and you're going to hear the same things over and over and over again. And that is going to embed into your subconscious far quicker than it will be jumping around. Another thing with listen is you're going to have to learn to listen to the market, because you're going to have to adapt. Just like any business owner, if the markets change, you need to be able to adapt. The markets in the Forex market, for instance, only trend for about 20-30% of the time, and then we'll see a reversal, then we'll see some consolidation, we'll see a rotation, and then we'll go into a trend. We might go the other way. And you need to be able to listen to the market, what it's doing, what it's telling you, and being able to adapt is what's going to enable you to become a profitable trader. And finally on listen is don't be an asshole. An asshole is someone who takes advice, he asks for advice or she asks for advice, you tell them, they listen, and they do the complete opposite of what you told them. If you're following a coach or a mentor and you believe in what they have to say, listen to them. Don't do the opposite of what they tell you. All right, so that moves us on to testing. Testing is essential because if you're back testing your system, not only have you got the tools for a business plan, you've got the tools built out in your plan, you're taking it very, very seriously, it's going to build up your reticular activating system. If you're testing and testing and testing, these patterns and these price patterns and these strategies are going to pop out to you. Your setups will pop out. They'll be, you'll see them so visible because you've seen them over and over and over again. And your reticular activating system will help. You'll train your RAS to see those patterns. It's a bit like when you buy a car and you go out of the showroom and all of a sudden you see those cars everywhere. Your RAS is designed and there to stop you from losing focus. It focuses your mind on patterns, predictable patterns that you've seen before and you recognize. By doing the testing, you're going to build that and you're going to become much better as a trader because you'll be seeing those setups a lot more frequently and a lot more in advance. Testing also gives you confidence. It gives you confidence in your system because you've tested back 5 years, 10 years, and when you hit a drawdown period, you could say, oh, is this normal? And then you look back last year, oh, I had 5 losing trades in a row last year. The year before that, I had 7 losing trades in a row then. My maximum drawdown was 6%. I'm nowhere near that yet. So it gives you the confidence to push through those drawdowns if you've got that tested data, which then of course helps with your psychology. You're not sitting there thinking, is this normal? Is this normal? Is this normal? By testing, it also means that you're treating it as a business. So just like any other business with a business plan and you've got a balance sheet and a P&L, most traders forget that and it all goes out the window. By doing the testing, you're verifying your business plan before you even start the business on day one. So unlike any other business plan, this isn't reliant upon staff, market trends, the economical situations, and things like that, you're back testing price patterns, technical price patterns that have stood the test of time. And if you can forecast what's likely to happen based on 5-10 years of data, you're going to have a lot of confidence in your system, and you're really treating it as a business by building that plan before you even start trading. Testing also helps you develop discretion. So the more reps you put in, the more discretion you build. We've got traders in our platform that have developed systems. In fact, Darren Oglesby invented the cipher pattern just from backtesting a different system. That ended up being the most profitable advanced pattern that we know of today. And the more you test, the more discretion you're going to build. You're going to get a feel for the markets, which will overlay that technical analysis, which will make you a much better trader. Lastly, with testing, it's much easier to get investment. If you're treating it as a business and you've got all the data and you've done all the tested data, all an investor cares about is what they're likely to return on their money. If you've got a solid set of results and data that you can display to them and go through with them, they're going to be much more likely to invest in you, and there's no shortage of money, believe me. So that brings us on to trade plan. Trade plan allows you to optimize your system, because once you've done all the testing and you've got a profitable system and a positive expectancy, you can build a system that's extremely profitable based on the optimization of that test. And your trade plan will include your strategies, your positive expectancy figure, your numbers, your forecast, your risk management rules, your money management rules. It's essentially your business plan for your business. Just like any other business that has a business policy, a business plan, a strategy on how to make money, that is your trade plan. And without that, you're just in the wind. You know, you've got nothing tangible to work to. And also, it allows you to approach the market objectively every time. Because without a plan, it's not telling you when you can and when you can't get into the market. It's not telling you when you can and can't trade. Therefore, you're going to lose consistency, and consistency is, of course, the most number one important thing in trading altogether. So those are the most important things when learning to trade. And if you want to become a trader as efficiently as possible, you need to take note of all of those things and have them all built into your training program. If you do that and you go about it the right way and you take on board what I've said, you'll be able to have the things that you wanted. When you wrote out the things that you wanted and why, you'll be able to have the things that you want, you'll be able to help the people that you want, and that is just inevitable. There's no next step. You will have the stuff that you want. So have a think about that. Let me know what you thought about the points here. Let me know if you found that helpful. I've really just reeled off so much information there and so many pointers, but I wanted to kind of share it with you guys because I'm getting, we're getting to the point where we're seeing lots and lots of other trading educators go down. I've seen 2 dissolve in the last 2 weeks. I've also had a trading educator who's got 100,000 views on YouTube approach me and ask me to be part of my program. So I predicted this. We've been predicting this for a couple of years. We're going to see all of this, these gurus fizz away, and then there's going to be the Avengers at the top. And I really hope you found this valuable, because this is what we believe. This is how we've built such a successful program. And if you've got any comments, leave them below. Please share this with anyone who's maybe been hurt before, or dabbling with someone else's system, or thinking about buying an off-the-shelf course, or all of that stuff. Think about what I've said in this video, and if you know anyone that's going about it and that's missing any of those things, share this with them. And of course, if you're interested in learning how to trade, of course, we run our 14-day trial, absolutely risk-free. Again, trading isn't for everyone, and we don't expect everyone to be able to go on there and go, yes, this is for me. So we offer a risk-free trial. In that time, we hit you with realistic expectations. You get exposed to the lot, and you're going to know your numbers. You're going to know how long it's going to take you. We're going to teach you about building a system around your lifestyle. And if you think you can do it, then great. You've got all the tools and resources you need to succeed. If not, part ways and you've lost nothing. So hopefully I'll see you in there. I look forward to working with you. If not, take care, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a little thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.